Hi everyone, Stacy here from Flourish. I thought I would offer a couple of recorded classes, and if this is something that you'd like to see grow in terms of our library virtual offerings, I welcome that feedback and I'll keep trying to add to it. But to start, I'm going to record two classes, a solar vinyasa and a lunar vinyasa. So this is the solar vinyasa practice. It is 45 minutes in terms of my instruction. And then I've left time at the end, and I'll cue as we wrap up to then stay in a shavasana, a seated meditation, maybe something restorative like legs up the wall. And the playlist that I've provided to go along with this practice, that's handpicked, very intentionally, designed. The playlist itself is 60 minutes, so that if you want to give yourself that space and time to remain in your relaxation, the music will continue. You can even maybe let that be a bit of your own timer, if you will, as to when you'd like to wrap up. But please do give yourself that gift of your final relaxation or an alternative restorative pose. Okay, so grab any props that you would like to use to support your practice. Nothing specific on my end that I'm recommending, other than I'm just going to be using one block. But yeah, good blocks, a blanket, a strap, anything that will serve your practice. And I'm just going to set my own timer here and get us started. So we will begin in a seated position. And coming into a seated position, we're just going to start with some centering and breath work. And you can do either cross-legged seat or come into a kneeling position. And just to start, placing your hands wherever's comfortable, maybe just allowing palms to rest on your thighs. And let's take a moment to close the eyes. Or if it feels better for you, just a soft gaze down, finding one point of detail to allow your eyes to rest. And I'll invite you here, just do a bit of a scan. We'll start with like the physical, just feeling yourself come into this place of stillness. And let's start with that earth floor beneath us, all the way down like at the root of your spine, feeling just that, a sense of rootedness, a sense of being very grounded into the space beneath you as you ground literally into the physical body here. Now I want to keep the spine lengthened, and as we ground down, there's an equal or dual energy of feeling lifted. There's a rising equal energetic line through heart space. Imagine like a cord or like this pole, right? So at the bottom of that is the earth floor, and then there's this lift through the heart, through the neck, throat, all the way through the crown of the head, even hovering above. And I'll allow you just to kind of feel that in your own way, where you feel rooted, where you also feel kind of lifted and spacious. We want to keep our shoulder heads back. As we continue to scan the physical, I'll invite you to explore the areas in your face and where, even in really subtle, detailed areas in the jaw, around the eyes, the forehead, the cheekbones, where we might still be holding some resistance and tension, that we can now use this space to find ease and to deeply release, as we also build energy in the practice through the postures, through the vinyasa. We want to balance that effort with a deep sense of ease and moments of like sweet surrender. And now the breath, without much effort, just noticing, witnessing its presence, that felt sense of breath. Maybe it's in your nostrils to begin. And then becoming just aware, even if eyes are still closed, of the space around you, right? Around your yoga mat, just visualizing like this sphere of space. So we invoke kind of that ether and space element, the air we breathe. The physical body is also the connection to the grounding earth floor. and declaring this space, this time for your practice. Thanking yourself for carving out this time. This next, 40 minutes or so now is a practice that's designed to deeply serve you, mind, body, and breath that all come together into a harmonious state energetically. We'll build energy in the body, we'll move with our breath, we'll create some space. And again, we'll balance that by also finding moments where we mindfully surrender into stillness, into ease, and cultivate a relationship with ease. And also a very calm and peaceful, energetic state. So just to help us to connect with the breath a little bit more, turning palms up, just as if you were holding like a tray right in front of your belly. So we're just gonna, it's very simple, we're just gonna breathe in and out of the nose, maybe to about a count of 5. On the inhale, we'll raise our palms kind of up to about shoulder height, then we'll turn palms to face down as we exhale through the nose. And we'll do this 5 times. And we'll begin inhaling up. Breathing from the belly, up now to the chest, all the way up into the nose. Palms turn down, and then we'll just exhale. Again, slow it down. This is a very grounding exhale. Maybe feel this more in your back body. And the front body, for our inhale from the belly, will begin to rise, drawing breath up. Palms turn down, and we just feel that energy ground us down towards the earth floor as we feel the body release every bit of breath. Again, rising up. Grounding down. 2 more times. Inhale, maybe to a count of 4, 5. Exhaling, feeling the space right beneath your palms, just an ease as the body releases breath. And then 1 more round. So now we fill up, and this energy is spacious. It's that lifted energy through heart, which is our air element. We fill to the top of our lungs. And then we feel the release as we ground it back down towards the earth floor. And just pausing to witness any shifts, to witness the experience, and to continue that practice of invoking present moment awareness. Now we've declared the space, we've slowed down our breath, we're going to maintain this connection to breath and allow it to feel spacious and very much present in our practice. We'll transition now into a forward fold, coming into ragdoll. Sliding your feet out, maybe shoulder width or even wider. You can bend your knees and either just let your arms dangle, crossing at the wrists, or holding onto your elbows and beginning to sway side to side. Just moving at a pace that feels rhythmic and yet just very relaxing here with our head beneath our heart. I'll invite you to visualize the air element which lives in our heart, our lungs, and that spacious air element now just flooding your mind with spaciousness and ease for the mind. While we also allow the head here just to dangle heavy. Again, knees can be soft and or as bent as needed to protect your low back. You can adjust your stance at any time. So we stay rooted in the feet. Feeling that traction in your spine from the base of the spine all the way down to your neck. See if you can relax the neck even more into the base of your skull. Allow that relaxed energy to continue flooding into your forehead space, around the eyes, into your jaw. One more breath here. This is designed to be a nourishing space. Head beneath heart, spacious air flooding the mind. Relaxing into the neck, into the face. into the shoulders, all of these spaces where we tend to carry tension and resistance. And then we'll release from here. And I'm going to turn to the side view. So walking feet in now, either hip width or to touch. And if they're to touch, leave a little space between your heels. So we're going to take a halfway lift here with airplane arms. We'll begin with bent knees and sweeping fingertips back by the hips. And you can stay with that. That feels best for your low back. Or you can lengthen now through the legs, through the arms, through the spine, and we're gazing down. Imagine you're squeezing a block between your thighs, and we want to create a fist in our belly. So if your belly's relaxed, draw it in like a fist to stabilize. One more breath here, lengthening through the neck as the fingertips equally reach back long behind the hips, and then just release right back down into your forward fold. Dropping the head. And we'll do that again, a halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, either with bent knees or lengthening for a full inhale, again to the top of your breath. And then we release and find a moment here of deep ease, back down, Uttanasana, forward fold. One more time, we rise halfway, we lengthen to the top of our breath and release it back down to the earth, relaxing the head. Now from here, we're going to rise up for a spacious inhale for a extended mountain pose, reaching hands up overhead. And let's just hold it here as you root down into the feet. Right? Feeling the four corners up. If you pick up your big toe all the way across to your pinky toe of each foot, again, that visualizing that block, that imaginary block between your thighs as if you're squeezing it. We create that fist once again in our belly. So we're just stabilizing and we're drawing in and up. As we now are lifted through the heart, through the crown of the head, fully engaged through the fingertips and hands, right? So standing with intention, standing tall, one more breath. Allow your breath to explore, rooting down, where I feel rooted, but where you feel spacious and lifted. And then hands through heart center as we fold, softening the knees, releasing back down. Halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, one breath here, rise. And release back down, all the way up, extended mountain pose to the top of your inhale. And we're going to bring it right back down, hands through midline, releasing deeply again into your fold. And now halfway lift, I'm going to switch positions here to the top of my mat. With airplane arms, Ardha Uttanasana. As we release down, we're going to take a big step back with the right foot, allow it to land, and then lowering the right knee down to the mat. And your left knee is aligned over the ankle. Just taking a moment here to allow the body to receive this shape, especially in the hip area, and for your breath to explore the shape that we are now in and where you are likely feeling sensation. From here, we're going to rise up, rooting into that front foot to reach hands up overhead, and then interlacing fingers and catch your head with your hands. And as you gaze up, finding one point of detail for the eyes to land and to rest and to meditate on, or closing the eyes. Again, the face stays relaxed, the neck relaxed. We're staying strongly rooted in the front foot for stability. And once again, we are open, spacious across the chest and heart space. Reaching arms up and back. We're going to open into a twist. So you'll be gazing over your right shoulder, left hand forward, right hand back. And you can stay with that. Or drop your back hand to the body and the left arm reaches up and overhead. And you can gaze straight up or over your shoulder. And if you want to go a little deeper, you can slide your hand down the back leg and just tilt back slightly into more of a back bend. One more breath here. And then we're going to bring our hands down to frame the front foot. Drawing the hip back into a runner's lunge, keeping the knee bent, or you can float onto your heel with the toes pointing up, walking your hands wherever feels secure, and then chin to chest. And you can just come into a little bit of stillness here, or rolling around a bit, finding, again, just areas in the body where sensation feels welcome. One more breath here, and then we're going to bring ourselves forward and step back into a downward facing dog. Left foot steps back. Okay, so our first down dog, first we root down into our palms, spread out your fingertips, engage the arms, but as we lengthen and engage these strong arms, we can still relax the back of the neck. We gaze back at the feet, which are about hip width apart, right? Not to the width of your mats, not super wide, not to touch, just somewhere in between. And now just allow yourself to breathe. If you want to move around here, you can walk it out, or move the hips around, or lift the heels, snap, crackle, pop. Now from here, we're going to bring the feet to touch, still at the back of your mat. And with intention, slowly we're going to lift the right leg, three-legged down dog. At the top of your inhale, open the hip. You can keep your legs straight, or you can bend the knee. But notice if you collapse to the left shoulder, right, keep it lifted, arms long and strong. Now we're going to dial the hips square and draw your knees, sweep it forward towards your nose, dropping forehead towards knee. And we're a bit rounded in the spine and shoulders came forward. So now we're going to reach it back, lengthen. As we inhale, to the top of your inhale, option to open that hip up with a straight leg or bent knee. We come back to square to draw the knee right through your midline to center to heart. Once more, we're going to stretch back, open the hip. And then as we square off, this time as we draw the knee forward, we're going to lower it down right to the center of your mat. And you're going to turn both feet for a modified side plank. The right hand stays down under your shoulder. Left hand can either catch the hip, make any adjustments so that you are feeling stable here, and then the left arm can reach either straight up or overhead for more of an extended angle. I'm just noticing that line of energy from the back foot through your fingertips. You might even want to invite in some nice fluid, water-like movement for the left shoulder, into the neck, into the chest. Right, no rights, no wrongs. First, stability, staying safe, but just allowing the body to open up and receive this sensation, this spaciousness. Now we're going to come back to where we came from, which is a three-legged down dog. Left hand comes down, turning the right foot back. Now I'll challenge you here to press and lift the knee up, stretching all the way back, three-legged down dog. Option to open that hip one last time. And as we square off, we're now going to step forward, low lunge, hold it steady, back knee stays lifted. So this is going to be a transition to the front of our mat. We're going to float into a standing split. So the left leg just floats up just for a moment, exaggerating slowness here. And then the left foot lands next to the right at the top of our mat, forward fold. Halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana with those airplane wings for a full breath in. And then releasing down. Rising all the way up for one breath back to extended mountain pose. And hands through heart center, forward fold, releasing it down all the way to the earth. I'm going to turn face the other way of my mat so you can see me all right here. Halfway lift, inhaling. And then as we release down, we'll take a big step back with the left foot and lower the left knee down. And the right knee is now aligned over the ankle. Pausing to breathe again into that hip space, that front left hip, allowing your breath to find its spacious presence in your body. And now from here on Vinyasa, arms lift and rise up overhead. Again, we'll interlace fingers, creating almost just like a pillow for the head to fall back. Gazing up for the eyes to rest at one point of detail, what we call our drishti, one-pointed gaze. As we keep the front foot rooted, and we just allow ourselves to find also some ease here as we relax in the face. Allow the breath to feel smooth and continuous, right? It's our yogic breath. Reaching arms back up overhead, and now we're open into a twist, turning over your left shoulder. Right hand forward, left hand back. Staying here, or you can reach the right arm up and slightly back. Again, gazing up over the shoulder to go deeper. You can just slide your left hand down the back leg. One more breath here. And then cartwheeling hands down to stabilize and land. Drawing the right hip back. And folding in to your half splits pose, runner's lunge. Again, choosing stillness here or rolling around a bit in the hips, in the shoulders. We Continue just to release layers of tension to create more space, more ease, coming back to a sense of baseline for the body. And then from here, coming forward, stepping back, downward facing dog, right foot steps back. And again, settling in, rooting into the palms, lengthening through the arms, relaxing through the neck, and gazing back at the feet. Bring your feet to touch. And now lifting the left leg, and slow with intention, with the option to open the hip up with a long leg or bent knee. And then as you dial back square, drawing that left knee forward, right into the nose, and dropping the forehead. We'll do that again, lengthening back as you press into the hands to open the hip to the top of your inhale, and then dialing down square and drawing the knee forward, right into the heart. Once more, stretching back, opening up. And as we come back square, as we draw the knee forward, we will lower it right to the center of the mat. Adjust the left hand, turn both feet. Again, right hand can come to your hip or begin to extend either straight above you or overhead at an angle, a diagonal. An option for movement. I like to visualize here like Tai Chi practitioners. It's almost how they're like feeling the space. It's like a meditative exploration, but we're also inviting in that water-like element into the shoulder, neck, and chest. Will we also stay rooted down, back foot, and left hand? All right, reversing our steps here. Right hand down, pressing to lift left knee up, three-legged downward facing dog. Option to open the hip. And this time we'll step forward, once again into our low lunge. As a transition back to the front of the mat, we'll begin by floating into an exaggerated and slow standing splits like teeter-tottering. Head drops heavy, right leg engaging, lifting up, and then land it at the top of your mat, forward fold. Halfway lift with those airplane arms, Ardha Uttanasana. Create a fist in your belly if it's relaxed. And then releasing it down, rising all the way up, extended mountain pose, hands up overhead. One full breath. To the very top of your inhale, stand tall, and then bring it right back down. Forward fold, Uttanasana. Halfway lift, a nice smooth inhalation as we lengthen and engage the back body. And as we release it down, from here, taking a big step back with the right foot, turning down into a warrior one stance, keeping hands down, adjusting your feet first, so back heel is down as the left knee and big toe face 12 o'clock straight ahead, but there's an equal energetic line back to that back leg, that back foot. Coming into airplane arms from here as we reach fingertips back. Again, stabilize from the legs, feet first, and then roll shoulder heads back, open across your chest. Engage your arms as if you were pressing onto a surface behind you. Breathe. Keeping fingertips back to start, begin to roll up through the chest, one vertebrae at a time, and then allow the arms to follow. So we're in a full expression here of warrior one, Virabhadrasana one. Reaching back now to interlace fingers behind your back. And you can do so, lengthen the arms for a chest open or a bind with long arms, or you can just bend your elbows and hold on to your wrists or forearms if that feels better in your body. Taking another breath here, opening up through throat, and from that forehead center, we're gonna slowly bring it down low, humble warrior. You can slide the left foot over if you need a little more room to drop your head. Maybe shake it out. Another breath here. Keeping that bind, we're gonna slowly rise up. Now from here, coming and turning onto the ball of your back foot. So now your hips square off. We're gonna hold the bind. Again, you can do so with bent elbows. And then we're gonna begin to lean forward, creating a diagonal line. Now you can stay right here. If you wish to explore warrior three, we're gonna float the back leg. Create that fist in your belly if it's relaxed. Imagine you're pressing into a wall behind your right foot. And as the hands pull back, notice the equal energetic line of your crown of head, your neck lengthening forward. and the belly, the core. That's our stability. Create that fist. One more breath. We're gonna land back at a warrior one. Big step back. Slide your feet into place. Releasing back into those airplane arms. And starting to roll up through the chest, throat, forehead, arms follow. And we arrive back to our warrior one, Virabhadrasana one. Now from here, again, we'll turn so we're on the ball of the back foot, coming into more of a crescent high lunge. An open arm twist. First, twisting to your left. So hopefully that made sense. So your right hand is forward and your left hand is back. We're gonna swing that left arm back forward up through crescent. Breathing in, and then an open arm twist, now gazing over your right shoulder. And you can stay here, or reach that left hand up overhead. Your hand can hook around your low back, or slide down the back leg, and tilting back just slightly for a back bend with a steady gaze, steady eyes, steady breath, right? Still smooth and flowing in your body. One more inhale here. And then now we're gonna cartwheel our hands down, plank pose from here. That was a long sequence, right? We're gonna step the foot back. Your options for modification in plank are knees and tops of feet down. Even here, we create that fist in the belly, right? Relaxed belly, engaged belly. Full plank, heels pressed back, stable and strong, steady gaze, steady eyes. So we breathe forward just like an inch past the wrist, keeping the chin slightly lifted. The elbows bend straight back. As we release down, you can choose your pace all the way down. Take a moment, release your forehead. Allow everything just to feel just calm and steady, a return to baseline. Now we're gonna slide our hands off the mat into like cricket wings with tented spider hands. We're on our fingertips. For a cobra variation, rising up, rolling shoulder heads back to open across the chest as you plug into your fingertips and lift your kneecaps, and keeping your tops of your feet, your toenails glued down. So we engage the legs here. Imagine you're trying to pull yourself forward a bit with your hands. Lengthen your tail, right, your pubic bone down to try to stabilize the low back. And one more breath, releasing down. We're gonna rise back up, and you can stay with that flow, rising up, opening across the chest, engage the legs. And then we relax the body down, one vertebrae at a time, releasing, staying with that. Or as you rise up, starting to find movement here in the shoulders. So it's more of a fluid cobra. It's the water element which lives in our hips. And now we're drawing it up into our spine, into our shoulders, into our neck, doing what feels safe and intuitive in your body. And let's release all the way down. Pressing up to plank or hands and knees for a transition back, downward facing dog. Taking a cleansing breath here in through the nose and out the mouth. Let's reach the right leg up. Option to open the hip. And then as you dial the hip back square, again, we're going to draw our knee forward towards our nose. And we'll do that again, opening and lengthening, an option to open the hip. As we come back square now, we're going to sweep or scoop the right knee over towards your right elbow. Maybe you connect, or it's okay if you're floating. Send it back long from the hands, arms, lengthen, maybe open the hip. And now we're going to square off and cross over to your left elbow, bring shoulders forward. And as we lengthen back, now let's all bend the knee, open up the hip. You can stay right here and just move around and roll out wherever feels good. If you have a flip dog, keeping the left hand down, we flip the right foot over, and then the hips open the body with the right arm. Totally optional. Making our way back from where we were, which is a three-legged down dog, stretching the right leg long. Now we're going to step the right foot outside the right hand. So we're in an active lizard pose. Hands to the inside, scooting right foot out just as a transition here into a wide-legged forward fold. Walking your hands over to the left, turning your feet. And then we'll come into down dog arms. So you have a wide stance, down dog arms. Your hands can be flat, or you can be on your fingertips here, literally as if growing roots through your hands and fingertips, reaching into the earth. Feel how long your spine can be here. As your hips stretch back, right? All of this length in the body, just breathe into it. And sliding hands towards you, coming into a halfway lift, bending the knees. So you're like in a squat here to transition up into a spacious star. So it's 5-pointed star, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And arriving here and turning feet or heels in if they're not already, toes out to like 10 and 2. You can also have your arms straight out if that feels better for your shoulders, or at a wide V. Now we're just gonna breathe and flow here. We'll begin with an inhale, and then bending into the knees for like a goddess-like variation, sweeping your palms in front of you, crossing at the wrist, and then rising up. And as you flow down, just switching which wrist is in front. And now I'll invite you just to do this at your own pace. And just moving intuitively in a way that feels, it just feels welcome. Not just to be a meditation. Now, if you want to start to add any variations of this, right, you can just stay with this rise and fall, just like a peaceful bird flapping its wings. It's a little cheesy, but you know, for some imagery for some of you, or maybe you're starting to explore some other movement here. The idea now is our movement, and you can even bring it into like some lunge work, peaceful ninjas. The idea here is primal movement, that we have movements of pattern in our body in terms of we know how our body wants to move. We just sometimes need to step outside of just repeated sort of alignment or not alignment in terms of like repetitious movement, such as maybe long periods of sitting, and we're not really allowing our body to open and deepen, to feel spacious and also rooted. So we're all going to make our way back into spacious star pose, taking another full breath here, and then just bringing it down into a downward facing dog. Hands come down, stepping back into a familiar space of downward facing dog. And you can stay right here. We're going to come back forward to our plank pose, to the top of your inhale. Modifications are welcome. This time we'll come halfway down, Chaturanga Dandasana, or to your belly. And from here, upward facing dog. So we pull the chest through the arms, lifting the thighs, opening up the entire front body. Still a fist, even more subtle in the belly. And then we draw back, downward facing dog. And take a cleansing breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. From here, let's just lift the right leg up enough to step it forward into a warrior one stance. We'll start the sequence from here on the other side. Turning your back heel down so your right foot is forward. Warrior one, adjusting your feet first so you're just equally rooted, right? Right shin, knee, big toe, 12 o'clock. But equal energy back through that back leg and back left foot. Airplane arms, reaching fingertips back. Rolling shoulder heads back to open across your chest, engaging through the arms, fully expressed here through the palms. Breathe. Keeping hands back as we start to roll up one step at a time, and then the arms follow for full expression, warrior one, Virabhadrasana one. Reaching back to find your chest opener, either with arms staying long or with bent elbows, holding onto your wrists or forearms. Gazing up, allowing from the heart to the throat to that forehead space to feel open, and then tracing that forehead space down, humble warrior. Finding ease, relaxation in the neck, relaxed energy across the face as our feet keep us rooted, our legs strong and engaged,
so that the upper body can come into a place of surrender. Now holding that bind as we roll back up, coming onto the ball of your back foot, leaning forward and creating a diagonal line. And you can stay right here, build lots of energy. Option for warrior 3, lifting the back leg. Notice if the belly is relaxed, create that fist and stability. Imagine you're actively pressing your back foot into a wall behind you. Steady eyes, calm, steady energy in our balancing, allowing it to be a meditation. And then bend the front knee to take a big step back into your warrior, releasing back into those airplane arms, and slowly rising up. One vertebrae at a time, the arms follow for our expression here now of warrior 1, coming once again onto the ball of the back foot, so we're in crescent high lunge. And we'll begin by twisting open to your right. Left hand forward, right hand back. Swinging the right arm back through center, rising up, crescent pose, and then an open arm twist, gazing over your left shoulder. Staying there, or reverse the arms, back hand connects to the body, right arm tilting back slightly for a back bend. We're taking another breath here, and then we'll cartwheel hands down, and step back, downward facing dog. Whew. And you can stay right here and breathe and rest. Or pull forward for just, moving with intention. Slow through the vinyasa. It's designed to move with your breath. To the bottom of your exhale here in low push-up. When you rise up to upward facing dog, we take a full breath into the top of your lungs. And then stretching back, downward facing dog. A cleansing breath in through the nose and sighing out the mouth. Reaching your left leg up, option to peel open the hip. And as you dial down, drawing your knees straight through center, knee to nose. And we'll do that again, lengthening back. Again, option to open the hip up without collapsing into that right shoulder. We come back square at that left hip. We're going to scoop the left knee to the outer left arm. So the foot stays lifted. Again, swinging back, lengthening the body, opening the hip from those strong hands and arms. And as you dial down, we're going to cross over, sweep over left knee towards your right elbow. Lengthening back. Again, we're going to open the hip here. We're all going to bend the knee. And you can stay here, just roll around, whether in the knee, hip, or ankle, or coming into a flip dog, keeping the right hand down. The left foot lands. And then we open the body, almost like a wheel pose. Making our way back to where we started, three-legged downward facing dog, stretching back nice and long. And then stepping left foot outside the left hand. So we come back to that active lizard pose, just as a transition here. Taking another breath. And once more, wide-legged forward fold. Walk your hands over to the right, allow the feet to turn and the heels to land. Option again to come into down dog arms or any other placement of the hands with elbows bent. Some people like to place a block under their head and find that very grounding. Peace fingers around the big toes with elbows bent out to the side. Ragdoll, so lots of arm variations. Just do whatever feels good to you if you want to move around. Right, so sometimes movement is very conducive to releasing and releasing. For others, and maybe it just depends also on the pose that you're in, stillness is conducive for finding deep, kind of sweet ease. All right, from here, coming forward into a halfway position. Now turning to face your right foot so that it's forward, we're going to transition right here into a half pigeon pose. Whatever of a safe transition for you, I'm just sliding my right foot over and easing both knees down, right? My left leg long behind, right knee is forward. And you can also just roll to your back for an alternative pose that feels better in your body if this is not feeling kind in your right knee. And as long as everything is feeling safe, let's start to slow down the practice. So come forward and lowering, creating a pillow with your hands. Another variation I like when I don't have a block, because you can also tuck a block, under the forehead, is to come to my elbows and create like folded prayer hands, and then bringing the thumb tips right between the eyebrows. So you can just rest wherever you've chosen to retreat. Allow the breath to kind of slow down as the body moves into more hip opener and restorative place of stillness. See if you can scan the face and notice, again, all these layers of subtle tension that we carry, even like around, like behind our ears, down into the jaw, the deepest points of your cheeks, of course the forehead. Just try to invite in ease and relaxation. The breath just remains spacious, maybe in your belly space. Just being a witness, notice you can remain present. If it's helpful, you can just count your inhale and then count your exhale. And we'll make our way back from here, just sliding your right knee back so that we land in table, all fours, and just flow through just a few rounds of cow and cat. Or maybe some circular rolls through the hips. Eventually making our way back either to a child's pose for moments of rest or downward facing dog. And we're just gonna set that right up on the other side, sliding the left knee, gently lowering both knees down. So your left knee behind your left hand. So you're like towards the left edge of your mat. And if you have something you can tuck under your hip, like a block or a rolled up blanket, if you've got a lot of space there. Again, choosing an alternative pose on your back. If this does not work, for your knee, if it feels okay, coming down. Setting yourself up. Now maybe scanning like the back of the neck and the backs of the shoulders. Right between the shoulder blades. We come back to the face and just continually scan, again, these layers and layers of subtle tension. You can lightly tap your tongue against the roof of your mouth, like behind your upper teeth, a few times as a cue. Even in the areas around our teeth, anywhere we're holding and gripping. Allowing the breath to be smooth. And present. Tuning into the wisdom of slowing down. Moving into stillness for the body and the mind. Just the breath flows with ease. As we release from here, we're just going to meet on our seat. So rolling over, I'll turn to face you, whatever makes sense for you at home. We'll come into our butterfly pose, Baddha Konasana, joining the soles of the feet together. A little bit closer.
holding on wherever feels safe, under the feet or around the ankles. And this will be our final posture, seated at least, as I continue to guide your practice and slow it down into your final phase. So coming here into butterfly pose. And we begin how we started, coming back full circle, different posture, but the exploration of rooting down through the base of the spine. And here we're just really intentionally closing in a very grounding place in the physical, like we're holding onto our feet or ankles, rooting down into that grounding earth floor. Even here, creating a bit of a fist in the belly. Might be a little like, not soft perhaps, but just some engagement of drawing back. And then there is the option to also lift like the pelvic floor. And this is called bandha, or energetic like locks, if you will. So we're just containing, we're creating a container of grounding energy. We come back into the physical. And then we explore again that lifted energy around the heart space, back to our air element. Come back to that invisible pole. And this central energetic line or pole, if that resonates, right? Growing roots down into the earth. The heart is like the bridge, it's lifted, and that energetic line continues up, right, through forehead center and through crown of head. And we're just breathing with ease. And just visualizing just the space surrounding us immediately, just the space around your physical body, your skin. And tuning into that ether element. Now from here, I will invite you to either come into your final posture of Shavasana. If there are any closing postures before your final relaxation, such as a twist to each side, if you would like to come into an inversion at this time, something like happy baby pose, like trust where to take your practice now. As my guiding you comes to a close, I invite you to give yourself this gift, a little bit of a self-practice now for this final 15 minutes, if you are choosing a full 60-minute practice. So guiding yourself into finishing postures that are restorative and nourishing, and eventually closing with your Shavasana, supporting it however feels good to you, or maybe something like a seated meditation or legs at the wall. Enjoy this final phase of practice, and thank you for joining me.